And joining me is a man who treats board memberships for critter groups and conservation groups like he's playing Pokemon Go. He's got to get them all. It's John Koleszar, board member, Wildlife for Tomorrow. We're honored to have him on because we're kind of one of the last on the list, I think, of groups that you have not been affiliated with. Can I put you on the spot? And can
No.
you rattle off how many organizations and what organizations in Arizona you've been involved with?
You know, if you go back to the 80s, it was the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation.
Okay.
The 90s was the RMEF and a lot of work projects. That was my first work project, was 1992 up on the Flying M Ranch with the Metzgers. And then AWF, let's see, I was vice president there. And then Arizona Elk Society, Arizona Deer Association, Arizona Big Game Super Raffle, Arizona Sportsman for Wildlife Conservation. I avoided the Desert Bighorn Sheep Society and the Arizona Antelope Foundation. Those were two.
Dodge those bullets, let me tell you.
Yeah. But otherwise, I've been involved for a lot of years.
You have, and that's why we're one of the many reasons why we're excited to have you on the board of Wildlife for Tomorrow is you bring that experience. And so what back in, let's go back to 92 then. Let's go back to your first project. What brought you in? What was the call to, I need to get involved with conservation, I need to get involved in these groups? Was it, were you just reading? Did you hear about something that really triggered you? What brought you into the fold?
You know, it's really interesting because I moved to Arizona primarily because I always wanted to hunt elk. I bought a business out here, but part of the lure was to hunt elk. I had never hunted elk and I wanted to. And living in Michigan, you know, the opportunities were very, very, very rare. And I bought a business out here, moved out here. And from that point on, I started going up to the rim country as soon as I could. And then I found out there was a meeting of a group called the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. And I thought, that's cool. What do they do? And I went to the meeting and I was, you know, the hook was set. I started working on their committee for their banquet. It was the Phoenix chapter only. They had one in Flagstaff. And from that point, it just kept going and going.
Okay, so, and I think it's important to note when we talk about all these different critter groups, and you say you moved here from Michigan to hunt elk, and then you hooked up with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. I think it's important to note that this isn't what it's all about. Critter groups are about conservation, they're about restoration, they're about projects, and not about, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation or Arizona Elk Society. It's just about killing elk. And I think that's a message.
I knew immediately when they started talking about what they wanted to do and the science behind it and clearing out pastures from encroaching PJ, I knew immediately this is like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And we can actually do this. So it was just a hook. I wanted to give back.
And talk to me about the first project. I want to know about the first project. Give me some details. Go on the way back machine there, John. You got this.
You know, the funny part is that I was driving a 1984 Pontiac Grand Am. No, an 6000 LE, 6000 LE. That was it. Pontiac 6000 LE. It was gray, 4 doors. It was a corporate car that I drove when I was working for Apple back in Michigan. And when I moved out here, I actually took that with a chainsaw to the Flying M Ranch and had no idea that we were going to be spending the night. But I wound up cutting trees all day long and moving them. And I wound up sleeping in the car and woke up just hellaciously tired, exhausted. My arms were all raw. Everything was just a mess. But it was the most fun I'd had in a long, long time. And you could see the difference immediately. I mean, you look about it now, everybody has to have a Sawyer permit. Everybody has to go through classes. Everybody has to do everything. We went out there and we just started cutting. And I'm amazed. Nobody lost a limb. Nobody got hurt. But we cleared, I think it was like 40 acres that day. And it was like the most amazing thing. We had all these big piles and, we were all cool and everybody laughed, had a great time. And that was it. And I thought, I got to do this. And then we started doing projects. I got involved with when the Elk Society purchased the big Burrow Creek allotment way back in, I think, 2002, 3, somewhere in that time frame. And we went up there and we started removing fence lines because they wanted to remove all the permittee allotment because they were retiring the allotment. And we rolled miles of barbed wire, 4-strand barbed wire. And I've got scars up and down my arm from doing that. And that's when I learned to use, Yeah, you use a lot of leather on your body when you're doing that kind of stuff, or an automatic roller. And even then, that can get a little dicey. When they start going and all of a sudden it stops and then ping, it goes again, you know, there's stuff that's going to be flying.
Oh,
So
okay.
those are my earliest remembrances of work projects, and they were all fun.
Safety third. It's
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, yeah. Now,
yeah.
there's all these regulations and safety, and now I forget about it. Just roll the damn thing out.